You know what time it is. It's time to glaze, Maki. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I'm able to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Another fun fact, Maki's legendary. Maki's amazing. Maki's perfect. Maki's peak. But of course, welcome to Thoughts On, aka a series where I try to yap much shorter than I typically yap. So let's start this 10-minute timer and let's break it down into the character. Well, actually into the narrative, then into the character, then into the power scaling. So, Maki Zenin is weird narratively. Genuinely weird. You want to know why? Because she unironically ain't that important. And you know, this is going to sound weird, right? Especially considering I'm a massive Maki meat muncher. Massive Maki meat. What? 4 whole M's. The alliteration goes crazy. But essentially, narratively, Maki doesn't... Like she does things... But, like, she's one of the few characters where, unironically, you could low-key pluck her out of JJK. And, like, sure, you'd have to rewrite some stuff. But it's not the craziest. And, like, once again, I'm doing this whole little, like, mini-series of me just breaking down my thoughts on characters right now before I actually do my reread. So, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But unlike a Yuta Kotsu, unlike a Noboru Kukasaki, unlike a Manga Fushiguro, unlike a Itadori Yuji, unlike a Gojo Satoru, unlike a Ryomen Sukuna, you could pluck Maki out and, like... Darn it, I mean, Mai would be a weird character who just exists, but at the same time, she doesn't actually do all too much. Think about it in the grand scheme of things. She does stall Hanami for a bit, you know, okay. That could just be written that Megami stalled out Hanami a bit longer by themselves. Okay, so that's it. They do basically nothing other than see Toji in Dagon's domain when they're in Shibuya. And barely damage Dagon, and they get Playful Cloud from Megami. So I guess maybe Megami wouldn't have Playful Cloud out, and then Toji wouldn't have to steal it from her, and then absolutely... I feel bad for Playful Cloud. They get absolutely annihilated by Toji, but there's that. And then, you know, she gets burned alive by Jogo. Uh-oh. And of course, the Zenin Clan Massacre wouldn't be a thing without Maki, but like... What does the Zenin Clan even really do? Other than exist there to, you know, predicate Megami's character and Toji's character, and my proxy's Maki's character. So, like, definitely, she's important, but, like, in the grand narrative scheme, I'd give Maki, like, a B. If not high C in terms of narrative F. Like, she has her moments, but they're honestly weirdly insulated to herself and her own section of the narrative. And it's funny, because, unironically, her character almost acts as an antithesis to what the narrative is sort of about. Yet simultaneously, not really, because she definitely gains power and strength through connection, which is one of the biggest things that JJK is about, the ideas of isolationism and strength and what comes with that. But at the same time, I don't know, Maki's kind of weird, narratively. Because, like, yeah, the Zenin Clan Massacre is important. That is a whole section of the plot. And then, yeah, the Zenin characters would definitely have other issues. Like, you can't necessarily remove the Zenin without having to remove the Zenin. So, like, obviously, the Zenin Clan Massacre does have to happen, but still, it's strange. It's strange. Maki narratively just isn't as heavy of a hitter, even with her contribution to the Shinjuku Showdown. She does fight Sukuna. She does give him heart back shots, which does slow down his healing and cause him a whole bunch of issues and remove his arms. But, once again, you could just have Yuji do that, or have Yuta do that. Like, that's the thing. Maki's one of the characters where I could be like, oh, we could just plug and play a completely different character in the exact same role. And, like, notably, they even kind of talk about that in the hypothetical after effects of the Shinjuku Showdown, where Maki ultimately was almost plugged and played in different scenarios, but ultimately wasn't, because she's kind of interchangeable, narratively, which is crazy to say. And, like, as a person who loves characters, not just for their character, but also for their narrative purpose, despite being a big character guy, it is weird to say that Maki, narratively, just ain't all that. Like, she's more important than an Inumaki, more important than arguably a Shoko, more important than some characters, but for the major female character of JJK outside of Nobara, she just doesn't do much narratively. It does feel strange to me, I will admit, in retrospect, looking back on it. I'm gonna do a reread, I'll think about it a little bit more. Heck, I may even try to pluck Maki out the narrative and see how that actually works. I'm just coming with this stuff off the top of the dome piece. But I don't know, it's a little bit weird. It's a little strange. Oh, funky. I don't know how to feel about that. But you know what I do know how to feel about Maki's character? I love Maki's character, mainly because of the themes of liberation and is it self-idealization or self-realization? A little bit of both. Essentially, Maki's story is one of determining who you are regardless of where you came from, and ultimately accepting what you are and how you are you exclusively, irregardless of everything else around you, and how you can use your differences to make yourself and the world a better place. And obviously, Maki's version of that is heavily dramatized with the idea of standing out due to her heavenly restriction, and then obviously the loss of Mai leading to her awakening into the Zenin clan massacre, then into her second awakening in Sakurajima colony when she realizes what she's doing wrong in comparison to what Toji was doing right. All of that exists, but the reason it speaks to me so much, the reason I like Maki so much as a character, is not just because she is a fun character with a fantastic personality, very snarky, very devious and diabolical with it, likes to play around a little bit, likes to have a good time, but also just because I respect it. I'm a person who 100% believes in the idea that all humans are 100% unique. Even biogenetic twins raised in the same household are fundamentally different people because they are fundamentally different people. There are no two humans who are exactly the same. I believe everyone has their own unique value and existence, and that just can't be taken away. And Maki's story is essentially all about that. And how even if you are similar to somebody else and different from other people in a variety of ways, you can reach those same peaks, you can reach those same heights, and then you can do things better. You can do things differently. You can do things the right way. Because notably, note how Maki's development into becoming like Toji is purely physical. I can reach the same heights. I can move the same way. I can see the way that he did. But she doesn't walk down Toji's path. A path of isolation, a path of rejection, a path of loneliness. She doesn't submit in the same way that Toji did to the whims of the Zenin clan and the whims of the Jujutsu world. No, she created her own path. She created her own way. She created her own force and became her own force within the world to take back everything that was taken from her and create a brand new world, a brand new future. One for herself and then one for the ones around her by the feet of Sukuna with everybody else. And that is what I love. I love a good story that talks about the importance of the self. And don't get me wrong, JJK is a story not just about the importance of the self, but the importance of others. But at the same time, the importance of the self just hits a little bit differently, boy. Because, once again, I'm a person who's all about self-actualization and self-idealization. I believe that you should be you, and you should embrace you, and 100%, whatever that means, as long as it doesn't harm other people. So, that is real good stuff. But of course, I'll make a whole Maki retrospective video. That's the thing. This is just me getting my thoughts off the dome. I already got a script I'm already working on for the Maki retrospective. I just need to complete my reread of the series and take notes. But, what about the power scaling? What about the power scaling? Maki is, unironically, one of the most divisive characters power scaling wise. And I'm saying that as a Maki beat muncher, right? A triple M, gosh darn it. She's one of the most divisive characters. Because you either have her waffle stomping a fat chunk of the verse and getting matchup checked by the god tiers and some top tiers, or she's fodder to a lot of people. Like I've seen numerous people not even have Maki in top 10. I think that's absurd. I've seen people try to kick her out of top 15. I think that's even more absurd because of like the scaling and narrative implications and also just her actual legitimate feats. So where do I place Maki? On a good day, I give her top 5. On a good day, I give her top 5. Obviously, she's below Sukuna, Gojo, Kenny. And I know people are gonna like this, and I'm gonna make a whole video talking about it. I'm gonna talk about Toji versus Kenny and Maki versus Kenny, because funnily enough, there is actually a difference between those two fights. But I could see her above Kenny. And I can see her beating Yuta, but like the narrative implication is that Yuta's the strongest, right? Like even if I'm making those arguments, I'm making arguments based on like matchups and like how the battle could go, not how it would probably go if Gege was writing it. So like Yuta obviously would probably be above at like number 3 pretty solidly. Kashima's a weird one just because of like their feats and their interactions with like Sukuna slashes and like lack thereof for Kashima's NBA feats and whether or not you use NBA against her. And then like that kind of it. I mean, I think Hikari just can't do enough damage to her. And I think Yuji just ain't hitting her. Once again, that's kind of spoilers for one video that I'm making, but like, I don't know. I think Maki's kind of beastly. Once again, just based off her feats and based off of SSK, I think she's kind of a monster, kind of a beast, kind of a creature, kind of an animal. Top 5 at the highest. I know some people who put her at top 3, put her and Toji at top 3. I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can do that just because of Yuta's narrative, which is funny because, I'm not usually a narrative kind of guy. I'm more of a feats kind of guy. But once again, matchups and stuff like that. But the lowest she can go is top 10. The lowest she can go. She is the strongest woman in JJK. The strongest woman in JJK. Not literally, because like Yuki and Yorozu either have like planetary AP and or higher in True Spear, but in terms of like matchups and scaling, I have her at bare minimum lowest top 10. But that's my thoughts. Please let me know what you guys think in the comment section and down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave Meet Maki Munchin. Yeah, I said it. Meet Maki Munchin in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that little notification bell so you not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, you don't happen to have a Picture down below where you support me for as well as one Ken1 Delma, hitting some exclusive videos, early content, and more. So now become a member of the channel for as well as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reactions, show the series item to review, ad variations of all my videos, and if you become a $20 patron or a $20 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also the link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below, where you drop 5 beans for a short video, 200 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is that guy with the pencil, writing off. I'd like to thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Super Flame Zero, Glacier XZ, Zara, Brandon Payne, J2MA, Gyomi, Yuki Ally, Buddha Uda, Azo 2404, Planet Crone, G Prosper, Nevis 97, and Ollie. I'd like to give a big old thank you to our line art tier patrons: Sean, Nirvana Igneel, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin Encarnacion, and A+A. And I'd like to give a big old thank you to our Inc. tier members: Fine, Austin Wimberly, Euchia, Carlo Alaimo, and Grim. And then I'd like to give a big old hefty thank you to our digital art tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. And then I'd like to give a big old thank you to our colored art tier patrons: Waki Munoz and Waki Munoz. And then I'd finally like to give a giga super duper kidney sacrificing thank you to our ultimate, that guy with a heart on the horizon, Calvin Elder.